The air quality levels in Delhi are worsening by the day. Currently, the overall air quality in the national capital continues to remain in the very poor category with an AQI of 306 recorded this morning. Bombay has also, of course, released a number of measures to curb the worsening air quality, while Delhi has now imposed the GRAP 2. Minister for Environment for Delhi, Gopal Rai, has explained what the Delhi government will be doing to mitigate air pollution as winters now approach, and this smoke screen that Delhiites and other states neighboring us face on a year after year basis approaches us once again. We've had an exclusive conversation with the Minister for Environment. Let's quickly listen into what is it that he's said to NewsX before I take this conversation forward and we show to our viewers what exactly is the current scenario in Delhi with our experts with us. But first, let's listen in to what Gopal Rai has had to say.
राजधानी दिल्ली में प्रदूषण का ग्राफ लगातार बढ़ता जा रहा है और इसके पीछे कई वजह बताई जा रही है। दिल्ली के अंदरूनी मामले होते हैं जिससे प्रदूषण बढ़ता है, साथ ही साथ बाहरी मामले भी होते हैं जिनमें अहम योगदान होता है दिल्ली में प्रदूषण बढ़ने का। दिल्ली सरकार के पर्यावरण मंत्री गोपाल राय हमारे साथ हैं, जिन्होंने अब से थोड़ी देर पहले लगभग 28 विभागों के साथ एक संयुक्त बैठक की है। सर, बैठक में क्या कुछ निकला? 28 विभाग थे, पॉल्यूशन पहली बार लग रहा है कि 300 के आंकड़े को पार कर चुका है दिल्ली में।
देखिए, ये पहले से पूर्वानुमान था कि सर्दियां बढ़ेंगी और साथ साथ जो हवा की स्पीड है वो कम होगी। उसको देखते हुए अब धीरे धीरे प्रदूषण का स्तर बढ़ने लगा है। 300 से पार प्रदूषण गया है और उसको देखते हुए पूरे दिल्ली के अंदर ग्रैप 2 का जो डायरेक्शन COQM का है उसे लागू कर दिया गया है। उसको दिल्ली में और कैसे बेहतर तरीके से इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाए, उसके लिए आज हमने जो है सभी विभागों की संयुक्त बैठक की और जिसमें कई महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय हम लोगों ने लिया है। इसमें से पहला निर्णय लिया है ख़ासतौर से जो हॉट स्पॉट्स हैं और उन पर विशेष मॉनिटरिंग शुरू होगी। जितने जो DC इंचार्ज हैं हॉट स्पॉट्स के 25 तारीख को ग्राउंड विजिट खुद करेंगे और वहाँ जो भी अगर कोई कमी है उसको जो है दूर करके वहाँ पे एक्शन प्लान को तेज़ करेंगे। साथ ही साथ अभी आज हमने ये देखा है कि 13 हॉट स्पॉट्स के अलावा करीब 8 ऐसे एरियाज हैं जहाँ पे AQI थोड़ा ज़्यादा दिख रहा है। इसके लिए स्पेशल टीम बनाई गई है जो वहाँ ग्राउंड विजिट करके और क्या सोर्स हैं उसको आइडेंटिफाई करेगी और उसको कंट्रोल करने के लिए एफर्ट करेगी। साथ ही साथ अब पूरे दिल्ली के अंदर जो पानी का छिड़काव हो रहा है, अब अभी तक सामान्य पानी से हो रहा था, अब उसमें जो डस्ट सेपरेशंस के जो पाउडर होता है उसको मिला करके इसका छिड़काव किया जाएगा जिससे कि उसे और डस्ट को कंट्रोल किया जा सके। इसी तरह से अब बस और मेट्रो की फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ाने के लिए निर्देश जो है वो जारी किए गए हैं कि बस की फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ाई जाए। साथ ही साथ पर्यावरण बस सेवा जो है वो शुरू करने की तैयारी शुरू करने के निर्देश दिए गए हैं। मेट्रो में जो 7-8 मिनट की जो गैप है उसे 5-6 करने का और जहाँ पे 4-5 का है उसे 2-3 करने का निर्णय दिया गया है। उसी तरह से जो SDMs हैं वो RWA की मीटिंग बुलाएंगे और वो जो गार्ड्स होते हैं उन लोगों को जो है उनसे हीटर दिलवाने के उपलब्ध कराने के लिए जो है निर्णय लेंगे।
सर, कई स्कीम्स होती हैं, चाहे वो ऑड इवन हो या फिर रेड लाइट ऑन इंजन ऑफ हो। 26 तारीख से आपने मुहिम शुरू की है, लगता है कि इस बार भी उसकी परमिशन मिलेगी? क्योंकि पिछली बार जो रेड लाइट ऑन है, इंजन ऑफ है, उसका सर जो परमिशन थी वो नहीं मिल पाई थी।
देखिए, इस बार रेड लाइट ऑन गाड़ी आपको एक जन जागरूकता अभियान के रूप में चलाया जाएगा जिसमें सिविल डिफेंस वॉलंटियर्स को नहीं लगा रहे हैं। इस बार जो सामाजिक संगठन हैं, जो इको क्लब है, पर्यावरण मित्र हैं, RWAs हैं, जो हमारे जो प्रतिनिधि हैं, विधायक हैं, पार्षद हैं, तो सब लोग मिल करके इसे एक जन जागरूकता के अभियान के रूप में चलाएंगे। क्योंकि रेड लाइट पर इंजन तो हम ही बंद नहीं करते हैं, तो हम सब मिल करके एक दूसरे को इसका प्रचार करें कि भाई रेड लाइट अगर आती है तो अपना जो है गाड़ी का इंजन बंद कर लें।
सर, ऑड इवन की जरूरत लग रही इस साल पड़ेगी? क्योंकि हमने देखा था ऑड इवन काफ़ी हद तक सक्सेस रहा था, रिपोर्ट्स भी हमने देखी थी कि ऑड इवन से पॉल्यूशन थोड़ा कम हुआ था। लगता है कि इस बार ऑड इवन की जरूरत पड़ेगी दिल्ली में?
देखिए, अभी जो स्थितियां हैं उसमें तो ऐसा नहीं लग रहा है, लेकिन सरकार हर निर्णय के लिए तैयार है। अगर कोई ऐसी स्थिति बनती है तो एक्सपर्ट्स की ओपिनियन लेकर के निर्णय हम लेंगे।
2 सवाल और रहेंगे बस। जो प्रदूषण है दिल्ली में, सबको पता है कि दिल्ली का हिस्सा लगभग 30% होता है वाहनों का धुआं, डस्ट पोल्यूशन हो गए, और 70% जो हिस्सा होता है वो बाहरी राज्यों का है, पंजाब, हरियाणा, पश्चिमी उत्तर प्रदेश। सर, बड़ी संख्या में पराली जल रही है। हरियाणा में आपकी सरकार नहीं है, लेकिन पंजाब में तो आपकी सरकार है। पराली को लेकर सर इस बार क्या कुछ परिणाम है निकल कर सामने आ रहे हैं? क्योंकि सर धुआं लगातार जो है पराली का वो दिल्ली पहुंच रहा है अभी।
देखिए, अभी कुछ दिन पहले हमने केंद्रीय पर्यावरण मंत्री के साथ सभी राज्यों के पर्यावरण मंत्रियों की संयुक्त बैठक हुई थी, और उसमें हमने इन सभी बिंदुओं को सबके सामने रखा और हमने अपील की कि भाई हमें आपके सबके सहयोग की ज़रूरत है। पंजाब में भी वहाँ की सरकार तैयारी कर रही है, और बाकी राज्यों के साथ भी हमने ये बात की है कि इस बार पिछले से ज़्यादा इम्प्लीमेंटेशन पे फोर्स करें, जिससे कि हम कम से कम उसका जो असर पड़ता है दिल्ली में वो कम हो सके।
आखिरी सवाल, कल दशहरा है, पटाखे पे दिल्ली पे बैन है, लेकिन एनसीआर में अभी भी बैन नहीं लगा। बड़ी संख्या में पड़ोसी जिलों में आतिशबाजी होती है दशहरे के दिन। दिल्ली में भी ऐसा ना हो, इसके लिए सर कोई प्लान, या फिर एनसीआर के जिलों में पॉल्यूशन बढ़ता है तो उसका सीधा असर दिल्ली पे होता है, तो उसके लिए सर कोई प्लान बना है अभी तक?
देखिए, अभी दिल्ली में तो पटाखा बैन है, इसका निर्देश पुलिस को दिया जा चुका है, और दिल्ली के लोगों से भी हमारी अपील है कि हमें सबको मिल करके प्रदूषण को कम करने के लिए काम करना है। हमें ऐसा काम करना है जिससे कि हम पर्यावरण मित्र में अपना नाम शामिल करें, ऐसे कोई काम ना करें जिससे प्रदूषण बढ़ता हो। मुझे उम्मीद है कि सब लोग मिलकर सहयोग करेंगे तो प्रदूषण को और पहले से जो है कम करने में हमें सफलता मिलेगी।
शुक्रिया बात करने के लिए। जर्नलिस्ट आकाश के साथ नवीन निशांत, इंडिया न्यूज, दिल्ली।
There we heard it. That was the Environment Minister saying that they will now, the Delhi government will put into place a system that it has to tackle pollution, which we do almost on a yearly basis now. Sandeep Chachra with me on the broadcast, Dr. Ishwar Gilada. I also have with me Ella Smithnik and Dr. Anil Goyal with us on the broadcast as well. Let me begin this conversation with Dr. Ishwar Gilada, if I may. Dr. Gilada, have you felt in the past few days some sort of smokiness in the air?
Yeah, thank you very much, Devika, for having me on the show. This has become an annual ritual. The only difference is that this time it is 1 month before it starts, particularly the stubble burning. And not only in Delhi, in Mumbai also we see for last 8-10 days, in the morning such a haze that there is no visibility. Visibility is less than half a kilometer. I don't think even the landing or takeoff for aircraft is also very smooth nowadays. So basically, I really salute Delhi government as well as government of India this time that they have taken it very seriously, and they started preventive measures for 1 month before. But however, I haven't seen any announcement either from the central government or Delhi government or any state government to make stubble burning as a non-bailable offense. I think we should be having this kind of very strict action to be taken against those culprits. I will call them culprits. They may be doing for their easiness. They may be doing because there is no other option available. But whenever you do something which affects somebody else's health,
we've tried for so many years to penalize stubble burning. It's really not worked out.
No, so I had suggested even 2 or 3 years before and now also that what the government of Haryana, UP or Punjab should do is that as soon as crop is coming, you make a action plan that okay, you take away your crop and the government takes over the issue of taking away the stubble. Government doesn't pay the farmer anything, neither farmer pay anything to the government. Government takes away stubble and then makes either briquette or any kind of pellets or anything from that. It can be very good use for furnace use also. So and then you make, because the farmers say that we need only, we have only 2 weeks or 3 weeks time between taking away the crop and resowing. So I think in that period we should have a machinery like a war footing, that you as soon as they go for stubble to remove the crop, they will go to the panchayat. They take a NOC that we are taking out. That NOC copy goes to the government. Government takes with the machinery. Whether they deploy some other agencies or not, it's government lookout. By doing that, we can take care of the stubborn. Otherwise, Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Gilal, I'll come back to you. Pankaj Mali, my colleague, is also with us from Amritsar. He's with farmers. Pankaj, आप कहाँ खड़े हैं अभी और क्या चल रहा है वहाँ पे?
बिल्कुल, मैं इस वक्त भारत पाकिस्तान सरहद के बिल्कुल ना लगते क्षेत्र अजनाला में मौजूद हूँ, जहाँ मेरे साथ किसान मौजूद हैं। उनसे बातचीत करेंगे कि आखिर क्या मजबूरी है किसानों की, जो किसान पराली को आग लगा रहे हैं, क्योंकि लगातार पंजाब सरकार किसानों को जागरूक कर रही है कि पराली को आग ना लगाई जाए, इससे वातावरण दूषित हो रहा है, वहीं जमीन की उपजाऊ शक्ति खत्म हो रही है। तो किसानों से हम बातचीत करेंगे कि आखिर उनकी क्या मुश्किल है, क्यों किसान मजबूरीवश होकर पराली को आग लगा रहे हैं। तो उनसे बातचीत करेंगे। सर, क्या नाम है आपका और क्या मजबूरी है कि किसान पराली को आग लगा रहे हैं, इससे वातावरण दूषित हो रहा है?
मेरा नाम मनजीत सिंह भाट है जी। मजबूरी है, जैसे जो पीछे देख रहे हो खेत देख रहे हो, जहां पर पानी बढ़ गया है, पानी भर गया है, तो वो पराली जड़ी है सुकेगी नहीं, ना वो गलेगी, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਾਲਣਾ ਪੜੇਗਾ। ਜਦੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਾਲਾਂਗੇ ਫਿਰ ਮਜਬੂਰੀ ਬਣ ਜਾਏਗੀ ਪਰਾਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਗ ਲਗਾने की। वैसे तो जो साडा जिमीदार इन्ना क जागरूक हो चुका है, वो पराली को वैसे जो पराली होती है ना, उसको बेसिक में बवा देता है। ऐसी ऐसी मशीनरी आ गई है, सरकार ने दी भी है और जिमीदार ये काम कर भी रहा है। और पंजाब में बहुत घट जगह पर आग लग रही है। जो दिल्ली वाले बोल रहे हैं कि पंजाब का धुआं दिल्ली में आ गया, तुसी खेतों में खड़े हो, देखो कहीं आग लगी है? दिल्ली का धुआं कहां से चला गया? वो वैसे ही दिल्ली वाले पंजाब को बदनाम करते हैं और हमारे किसानों को बदनाम करते हैं। धुआं उनका अपना ही है, अपनी गाड़ियों का धुआं है जो उन्होंने परेशान कर रहा है। पंजाब का धुआं नहीं परेशान कर रहा, परेशान उन्होंने फैक्ट्रियां धुआं परेशान कर रहा है। उधर तो कुछ करते नहीं गए ते पंजाब का किसान बदनाम करी जाते। पंजाब का किसान इतना सुहिर्द है, इतना सियाना है कि वो जो पराली होती है ना, वो खेतों में भी उसको नष्ट करता है और उसकी जो खाद बनती है ना, वो साडे लिए लाहेबंद है। जे अगर असीं आग लगाते हैं तो साडे मित्र कीड़े जिहड़े मर जाते हैं, वो साडे नुकसान करते हैं। इस करके पंजाब का जिहड़ा किसान है, बड़ा सिरद किसान है, वो आग नहीं लगाता, और जे आग लगाता तो मजबूरी वश लगाता है।
क्या देखते हैं, कैसी मजबूरी है किसानों की, क्यों आग लगानी पड़ती है? क्योंकि सरकार मशीनें अलग अलग सब्सिडी देती है।
पंकज, एक बार फार्मर से पूछिए कि क्या कौन सी फैक्ट्री है, कौन सी फैक्ट्री है, ये सारी फैक्ट्रियों का धुआं आ रहा है पंजाब से।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, मैं ये भी सवाल जरूर पूछूंगा। कौन सी फैक्ट्रियां हैं? आप बोल रहे हैं कि फैक्ट्रियों का धुआं दिल्ली जाता है, ऐसी कौन सी फैक्ट्रियां हैं पंजाब में जिसका धुआं
लुधियाने की इंडस्ट्री देख लो जाके, लुधियाने की इंडस्ट्री पर जाओ, देखो जाके कितना धुआं है। ठीक है, दिल्ली के में इंडस्ट्री नहीं हैगी, दिल्ली का धुआं देख लो कितना है। जहां देखो सही जाके, गोबिंदगढ़ जाके देखो कितना धुआं चल रहा है। तुसी अज पंजाब च खलोते जे, ऊपर देखो कैमरा घुमा के कि ऊपर धुआं हैगा है, ऊपर प्रदूषण हैगा है। असि तो बहुत साफ वातावरण च खलोते हैं, ते साडा साफ वातावरण वो दिल्ली धुआं कैसे चला गया? देखो सी जाके, अपने कैमरामैन को देखो, कहो कि ऊपर से देखे क्योंकि प्रदूषण हैगा है।
तो आप कैसे देखते हैं? बोलते हैं कि दिल्ली में धुआं जा रहा है, वो किसान लगातार, बहुत सारे मामले भी सामने आ चुके हैं। अमृतसर के डिप्टी कमिश्नर भी ये जानकारी दे चुके हैं कि अमृतसर जिले में गुरुनगरी में बहुत सारे किसान पराली को आग लगा रहे हैं। क्या मजबूरी है? किसान लगातार को जागरूक कर रही है सरकार, लेकिन मजबूरी क्या है, क्यों आग लगाई जा रही है? इसका हल क्या होना चाहिए?
सारे किसान नहीं आग लगा रहे, कुछ किसान आग लगा रहे हैं, वो इसलिए कि उनके पास संद नहीं है उनको पराली को नष्ट करने वाले, तो फिर अपनी मजबूरी उन्होंने बन जाती है भी इन्हू अग ला दीए, वो इस करके अग लाउंदे। सारे ज्यादा जो किसान जिहड़े उन्होंने कईयां को संद आ, वो अपने संदां नाल वाहुंदे आ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ खेती करते, वो अग नहीं लाउंदे। बहुत ज्यादा घट हो गई अग, पहला जिन्नी लगती है उन्नी नहीं हैगी हुण।
तो बिल्कुल, आप कैसे देखते हैं छोटे किसान जो है उनको, हालांकि सरकार मशीनें दे रही है, सब्सिडी पर मशीनें दे रही है कि आप सब्सिडी पर हम मशीन देंगे, पराली को आग मत लगाई जाए। क्या मजबूरी है? अगर सरकार साथ दे रही है तो किसानों को साथ लेना चाहिए सरकार का।
सरकार साथ दे रही है गली बाती, पूरी सब्सिडी नहीं मिलती। किले 1.5 किले का मालिक, उधरों मींह पै जाता है तो बारिश की पिची हुई पराली कहाँ जाएगी, कहाँ निकलेगी बाहर? वो तो ऐसे बदनाम करते हैं पंजाब को, भाई ये हो गया वो हो गया, कुछ नहीं होता। जे चंद्रमा पर पहुंच सकता है इनका जहाज, तो धुआं नहीं चेक कर सकते कहाँ से आता है? धुआं चेक करें कि कहाँ से आ रहा है, केड़े डिस्ट्रिक्ट से आ रहा है, कौन सी तहसील में आ रहा है। आप देखिए कहाँ पर आग लगी है, आप इधर आए हैं, बताओ। जे किसी ने लगाई भी होगी चोरी छपी, तो कनाल 2 कनाल में लगाई होगी, तो है ही नहीं आग तो। और हो तो इधर ही धुआं होएगा पंजाब में, इधर धुआं क्यों नहीं है? तो आप चेक कीजिए, एवं बदनाम ना करिए पंजाब को। नो, हमारा इधर धुआं नहीं जाता दिल्ली में धुआं थोड़ी फैक्ट्री है, वो जाता
Okay.
होगा।
Okay. All right. Pankaj, thank you for joining us. We've heard what the farmers have had to say. Dr. Anil Goyal of the Indian Medical Association, I'd like to bring you into the conversation, sir. As we were speaking to the farmers, we also put out visuals that we've received from this year by our input team on the fires that are currently being lit in Punjab. Now, this is just the beginning, sir, of the fire season in Punjab. You, I'm sure, heard what the farmers have had to say. The farmers of Punjab are in complete denial that Punjab causes a pollution problem, not just for its own state, but also for Haryana, for Delhi, for Uttar Pradesh. How does one then deal with this sort of a situation where the farmer himself is in complete denial and says that this is all all the pollution is being caused by factories and vehicles in Delhi, and none of it is from Punjab because we are no longer burning any fires. I want to get your perspective, and then I'm going to put out some of these maps for our viewers on the screens which show real time since October 2018 the number of fires that have been there in Punjab.
Thank you. Devika ji, what I would say is that we all know that the Delhi air quality is from poor to worse, with hotspot areas and high-risk areas having more than 300 AQI. So we all know that the Parali is burning, the stubble is burning. Of course, there are issues with the dust, there are issues with industrial pollution, there are issues with flying of highway vehicle and private vehicle. So the solution also lies in everything. Like, we need to control stubble burning, there is no question. The farmers may be in the denial mode, and as you have very rightly said, that we have the maps showing that there is stubble burning in Punjab. So therefore, that is one issue which we need to control with the modern methods, so that the farmers do not need to do the burning, and without burning, that stubble is being taken care of. That's one part. But I would certainly take you to the dust problem. Why can't we use, we know that every year there is an issue of this pollution, AQI going more than 300. As a doctor, I am concerned about increasing in our patients of acute exacerbation of COPD, means dyspnea, distress, difficulty in breathing, especially in children and old age who have already COPD, or the young children. So I am concerned about them, that every year it is happening. Every year it is a ritual that they get breathing problem. The OPD of our hospital or the Delhi hospitals is increasing with the breathing problems. The admission rate is increasing. Patients are going to have the ventilatory support, especially if they are high-risk individuals. So we need to control the traffic, dust. Why can't we use the dust suppressant with the sprinklers beforehand? We can do this. Then there are 28 department meeting, as the honorable minister was saying. But we know every year this is happening. We should control it beforehand. Use your dust suppressant, use sprinklers throughout the year. Why can't we do that? Industrial pollution, we need to control that. Heavy vehicle plying, we need to control beforehand. Now coming on to private vehicle, I am also the responsibility that I clean my air filter regularly. It is also the responsibility of the government that they give our public transport in a better manner. Why can't they do the metro beforehand, the regular interval, so that they decrease the interval? And if I get say good bus, though I will not use the private vehicle. And good bus means the regular interval, the time is definite, there is comfort in that bus. So the public will also use private vehicle less if they have a better public transport system. And also, I would like to take few seconds that dust is not the only solution in the outdoor, the indoor also. We need to use air fresheners, especially those household which are using the biomass. Then they must use some sort of air freshener, and they should be regularly cleaned so that children and old age people do not get their disease, respiratory problem worsen. So now coming on to the educational institutions.
Right.
The educational institutions, especially in 300, 400, possibly will need to be closed. But I am not agreeing with that on red light on, off, and switch off, switch on. These are
honestly,
just...
Dr. Anil, what will a red light on off? Yes, we should do it. Okay, I'm not against it. It's a good
What I'm saying
practice.
is that
It serves
as
your
we all
petrol,
know-
saves your petrol and diesel. But really, every year is the same problem, same fires.
Yes.
And every year we come and tell people that for 20 days you put your car on and off at the red light and it'll somehow help you. Of course not. How will it help? You should do it throughout the year, regardless of pollution.
You use your car, then I would say the parking charges needs to be increased. That is one part, so that people possibly will not use their cars, and then there is difficulty in parking in various parts of the city. But what I'm saying is, as an individual, this is also my duty to clean my air filters regularly, so that the polluted air, because we have now BS4, BS5, BS6 cars, so the whatever exhaust fumes are coming out, they are not causing pollution. We need to have a tuning of our car or a vehicle regularly. Have better public transport system. That's what I am saying. And I would also, as a doctor, please use masks nowadays, especially for the people who have chronic obstructive airway disease, who have all upper respiratory tract infection, especially with this in Delhi, there is a dengue season also. There is viral upper respiratory tract fever also. So this viral disease with this pollution is causing problem, and you would find out in Delhi hospitals, the number of patients have gone up by 50% to 70%, especially of these respiratory disease. This is on record, I am saying, as a responsible member of Indian Medical Association and Delhi Medical Association of as well. So therefore, we need to see all in together, that public has to come rope in for better public awareness about pollution. They should use the public transport. They should use less private vehicle. As Minister was saying, on these guards needs to be given electric heaters and all. And we all need to do this thing together. But
Dr.
the responsibility
Anil
of government,
yes.
responsibility of government especially, is very, very important for dust control.
Okay.
Use mechanical sprinkler.
Dr.
Mechanical
Angul, I'd just like to understand from you one thing, sir. Sorry to interrupt you there. I understand that the public has to come together and we must do our duty. Like I said, I would want this whole campaign of switching on and switching off your cars to be throughout the year. It should not be some measure that we implement just because there's pollution. All of us trying to use public transport is something that we should do through the course of the year, not just some emergency imposition during the days of pollution. The government coming together to ensure that there is public transport and public transport infrastructure is in place so that people can actually opt for that is the government's responsibility. I want to understand from you, then what is the responsibility of the farmer? The government is being asked to do its bit and the public is being asked to do its bit. What about the farmer? Who is asking the farmer to also then maybe do their bit?
I fully endorse what you are saying, but then as those farmers were telling you, that these poor farmers have no other recourse except to do stubble burning. So the government has to commit with modern equipment, modern machineries, modern ways to tackle the stubble rather than burning. That is number one. Secondly, the issue is a little more complex because this is a cheaper method of getting rid of stubble by these poor farmers. So the government has to give them subsidy for the alternate instruments, alternate equipment to dispose of the stubbles. That is how this is to be done. The government has to come in to help these farmers. That's how I feel.
Okay, Ella, let me bring you into the conversation. Ella, what do you feel? Like I said, you've also heard what the farmers have had to say. There is some sort of perhaps a victim complex. I don't know what really is the situation. Yes, I understand that all the farmers of Punjab may not have the necessary equipment or the people that they require to help them out with this situation. But Punjab is also a very rich state. Let's not kid ourselves. All the farmers in Punjab are not poor farmers. The rich farmers with acres and acres of land. Why do you think that year after year, they not only do they not want to bring in some of the new technology or buy it, the government also of Punjab doesn't say anything to them. The government's pole plank, in fact, the current government's pole plank in Punjab was the pollution situation. Earlier, the Aam Aadmi Party used to very clearly say that, oh, because it's some other party in power, we don't have any control. Look, Delhi is suffering. Now it's your party that's in power. And you still cannot say anything to the farmers.
You're right. You know, it's a very important question. Are the farmers actually poor, or are they just holding a victim mindset? Now, they're businessmen at the end of the day. They're selling their grains. They should be responsible for the Parali. So what they're burning is obviously the easiest thing to do, but honestly, the government is 100% responsible. Now, they don't have an excuse. It doesn't matter which government is in power, but it is, the onus comes upon the government. So, you know, we can do whatever we want in the city. We are trying to be better human beings and everything, with electric cars and, you know, separating our garbage and everything. But basically, the government there needs to answer, why haven't they been picking up the Parali? Because they've been saying for years now, we've been having this discussion for 8 years or 10 years now. So they haven't been doing that. So the onus comes on the Aam Aadmi Party. Why aren't you bringing it? Because they promised and they're not delivering. And now we are all suffering. We've already, all of us are feeling it. You know, it's really bad already. But think about later on, it's going to get worse and worse. So you're right. The Aam Aadmi Party has to answer. They've got to set this straight. They've got to take their trucks. They've got to go and pick up those bales. They've got to take that machinery and they've got to do it. Like you said, Punjab does have enough funds. It's not like they don't have funds. And if they don't have funds, then they should prove that they don't have the funds.
Right, absolutely. Sandeep Chachra, let me bring into the conversation here. What do you feel when you heard what the farmers have had to say? That there is an absolute denial of the fact that any pollution comes from Punjab and it's all being blamed on industries. First, it was blamed on firecrackers. And once again, like I said, yes, don't burst firecrackers. That also adds to other problems. It does add to some sort of environmental issues as well. But that's a separate conversation. Firecrackers, vehicular pollution is also something that governments are continuously working towards. But this one problem that every year we spend a month talking about it and then we wait for the next year to spend another month talking about it. Why is it that we can't move forward? And today we've reached a stage where the farmers are in a complete state of denial. They say nobody is burning stubble in Punjab.
Thank you and festive greetings to all, and thank you for having me here. I think the way to approach this, Devika ji, is to look at evidence, look at data, and then formulate strategies. And that's where I'll begin, if you allow me a couple of minutes. Now, in as much as the actually evidence-based study of the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur actually, which was submitted to the government of Delhi in 2016 is concerned, they have looked at which are the major factors causing pollution into Delhi. Now, this hasn't changed over the years. This is a 2016 study. Now, they have identified that as far as particulate matter 10 and below is concerned, and even PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5, it's measured in micrometers. For those contributions, the major factors are actually road dust. One of the speakers previously was using that word. The other major factor is what is called the concrete batching. This is essentially construction industry. Then, of course, industrial pollution. Please remember, Delhi has one of the highest concentrations of small-scale industries, Delhi and NCR, and some of the farmers were referring to it. And then, of course, the vehicular contributions to pollution. These are the four major, the top four ones, as per the IIT Kanpur study. We can debate it, but we all know, and of course, Parali burning has a contribution, but it's only seasonal. And we were debating it. The extent of it is not the way it was put in the show, the major extent. So in some ways, this is how we need to sort of adopt in terms of making Delhi a green city. So a green recovery pathways means what? Now, in as much as Parali burning is concerned, Devika ji, this is what I would like to say. The sustainable technological solutions which have been developed by Indian Institute of Agricultural Research and others need to be implemented on the ground. That will help farmers, but the farmers are presenting some of the challenges in adapting or adopting some of those technologies. They're asking for incentives. Please remember, these solutions are also labor displacing. Please remember, there's a whole range of landless agricultural workers who find some work in actually cleaning up. So I think while technological implementation has to be done, let's also remember there's a fundamental problem. And this fundamental problem is with reference to the agricultural transformation, the agroecological transformation that is needed not just in Punjab, all over India, but here we are talking of Punjab. The stalwart MS Swaminathan passed away some days ago, and I'll take the time to not only remember him, but also to see what he did. He started off as a Green Revolution champion, and through his life ended up as a champion for sustainable agriculture, for ecological agriculture. So I do think an ecological transition will help, but that's a medium-term measure. Now, coming back to Delhi, let me quickly point out a series of steps, which essentially some of the other speakers have touched on, but I'll elaborate in short points. First of all, I do think we need real-time monitoring and real-time strict monitoring and a zero-tolerance policy as far as pollution goes with reference to industries in Delhi and in the NCR territory. My second point goes to very strict surveillance on the construction sites of the kind of contributions they create to pollution and stopping those. Now, this is not once in a year activity, as was pointed out. This needs to be done throughout the year. The problem with the graded response action plan, which the Honorable Minister was speaking to, and it was welcome what he spoke, is that we tend to be responsive and only do those actions once pollution levels have risen very high, once AQI levels have risen very high. So we need a year-round implementation of the different phases of the graded response action program, the National Air Quality Program, which the central government has launched. These need much more comprehensive implementation. We also need, very quickly, Devika ji, we also need very strong measures to green Delhi. Greening Delhi means recovering urban commons, developing, we need to continue that. Delhi, remember, was a very, very green city. So we need to keep it even bigger, greener. So the urban commons, the water bodies, the greening of the city itself needs to be a very, very strongly financed public and government initiative. I also do think, Devika ji, that this whole question of public transport, the Honorable Minister was announcing some measures under GRAP 2 right now, but I also do think the last mile connectivity, the increase in rapidity of public transport, the question of affordability of public transport for those who are not using the metros, the question of public bus transport, the question of developing cycling paths, these are pathways needed. Remember that while we did see response from 2016, we've had progression. I must say this, through these policy actions, not a major progression, but remember, this is a complex issue.
Mr. Chalke, talking about transport specifically, about transport, you're saying cycling. You really think it's possible to cycle anywhere in Delhi?
We need to develop, you're right. See, the Delhi government...
I'm saying, okay, let's develop the tracks for it.
Yes,
let's have the infrastructure in place. Do you really feel that it's possible to cycle around Delhi, given the sort of just the sheer heat that we have for almost 5 to 6 months of the year? You really think it's possible?
First of all, ma'am, I think I want to say that we need to have the infrastructure and we need to see that social transformation happen. I think all major cities of the world need to get there. I advise the UN Habitat's World Urban Campaign, and you're right about the weather patterns, but there are still 6 months in a year, 7 months in a year, where people can and should be encouraged to take up this less polluting transport methods.
Yeah, but as soon as that time comes, we have a smoke screen, right? So that's the problem. 6 months you have heat, another 3 months you're then dealing with smoke all over the national capital. How much does that even leave? That literally leaves you with 3 months. So for 3 months, all Delhiites are out cycling on the streets, and then the rest of the time they're trying to figure out what to do.
No, but this distinction is artificial, Devika ji. But if you're going in a bus, you also inhale as much of that polluted air as you do while cycling, as you do while walking. Please remember, these are very socially, the impact is very socially disaggregated. The workers who are working in Delhi, the construction workers, the cleaners of the city, those ones who are making life possible in the city, the domestic workers, they do not have a choice. They have
Exactly.
So they have to get to work every day. Whether they get to work by cycles, whether they get to work by unaffordable public transport, or whether they wait hours for the kind of last mile services. So I think there's a complex
Exactly.
issue
I'm glad
there,
that you
yeah?
raised that point, because this conversation tells us that even the means to then keep ourselves safe, be it from the heat in Delhi, be it from the pollution in Delhi, is only affordable to the rich
It is
of the city.
class
Most
segregated.
people today have the money to put up air purifiers in 5 rooms of their homes. Everybody in Delhi doesn't have that luxury. Everybody can't afford. So that really cannot be the be-all and end-all solution that, okay, let's put up air purifiers in our homes.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.